And hopefully, you can see Ben and I here. We're going to be talking about a couple topics that came up from a recent video that I put up. Ben, did you see that video of that curbless shower failure? Just recently, I put it up went live last night on YouTube, and then been putting some stuff up on Instagram too. It was a
No, I,
yeah. Anyways, curbless shower, linear drain. Homeowner called me out there and they wanted me to come take a look at it, see if it could be saved. That old question, everybody wants, of course, can you just hoping we can do a repair, right? And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, if you let me shoot some YouTube video, I'll come out for free and give you the prognosis, remedy for repair, or if that you and if you really need to replace the whole thing. So yeah, went out there, telltale signs of a bad tile job, ponding, puddles, not enough slope, uneven tiles. There was literally red guard like that had been splashed up onto the the tile itself. So yeah, you look at the tile and there's like pink spots, and I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. There was, yeah, just a lot of stuff wrong with it, but I dissected it and um, put that video up. Cool video. It's doing well. But in one of the comments, one of the viewers had said, you made a great point. You talked about green flags of finding a contractor, where, we hear of the term red flags, which I think is a good thing to talk about. But what are the green flags? What are the positives that we can look for when you're hiring a contractor? Because these homeowners, so in this particular situation, the homeowner hired a GC, 30 years experience, supposedly good reviews, good general contractor. The general contractor, the homeowner thinks that he was just overwhelmed, overbooked, so he hired a sub that he had never used before. So he hires a sub. The sub hacks it up. The GC is MIA. He's out somewhere, other jobs, doing whatever. They paid the GC 14,500 for this tile job, which is in line with, probably what I would charge for a curbless shower, bathroom floor. Uh, they provided all the tile. So it wasn't like it was an exorbitant price, but it definitely wasn't cheap. And so the homeowner, I was talking and I was trying to explain to them that, like, I said, did you ask the contractor like what methods he was using? Because they told me it's the same old thing too. The homeowner had this gut feeling, right, that things aren't going well. The guy is showing up at 3 p.m. and working until 9 p.m. at night because supposedly he had other things going on. He didn't even own a tile saw until halfway through the job. He was cutting everything with a grinder, realized he needed a tile saw, so went out and bought a new tile saw. I mean, so obviously the homeowner has uneasy feeling about it. And but when they asked him, they said, that's when he started doing the research, right? Found Tile Coach, started doing some research, like, hey, something's not right. They start asking him questions, and he gets super defensive. He said, no, I've been doing this for, same old story, been doing this for 20 years, never a callback. I know what I'm doing. I don't need to explain my methods. I'm good at what I do. So I go, you know what? A green flag of a contractor is somebody who's welcoming the questions, someone who is open to discussing the methods they're using, why they use them, having conversations about their products. Because if they do, they're confident in what they do. If they're defensive, that means they're not confident in what they do. They can't, they know that they can't sufficiently explain the process because they don't even understand it probably. So that was a green flag moment that I thought, that's a great thing. If you're a homeowner and you ask your contractor uh, how it's going to be waterproofed or any process of the entire installation, and he responds confidently and opens that discussion, that's a green flag. It really is.
And yeah, it's funny you start there because a couple years ago I wrote on my blog, um, love your tiler. How do we find good tilers? And what's a characteristic of a good tiler? And my first one, kind of like what you just said, is do they talk about the process, how it's built? Do they
Hmm.
geek out about what they do? Do they
Hmm.
understand the mechanics of working with tile? And that's
Yeah.
something like when I look at someone like Jason, for example, when he is speaking about tile, you can tell he's an expert in his field.
Hmm.
And like in your situation, in the situation you're speaking of, if a homeowner was to challenge Jason on something, it, there would be an exciting moment almost, because most
Hmm.
people just look at him as the expert.
Yeah.
Wow, we got a live one here that we can
Yeah.
kind of
That really
explain.
wants to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we do run into, because yeah, we do actually run into those situations, because sometimes people will ask, like, well, why aren't you using the whole Schluter system? They have that question, and
Hmm.
we'll probably explain it to them and logically explain it.
Hmm.
And they're usually convinced just because of
Yeah.
how what we're saying, the
Yeah.
facts about what we're saying. But here's the other part of it. I have another one where I say, why do homeowners get cheated? And part of this, what you mentioned in the last one, and in what you said with those people, is people have no curiosity of standards and practices. Homeowners
Hmm.
don't.
Hmm.
Homeowners have no curiosity or care for the knowledge that goes into it generally,
Hmm.
outside of very simple things like the looks, for
Hmm.
example. So, that's something to be said. Your homeowners that you filmed, they they did their research too late.
Yeah. Yep.
And I hope Tile Coach, 250,000 followers online, and you really make a connection with the public. From what I notice, I hope you're getting out to those people, show some curiosity
Hmm.
in the technical side of it,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
just what it looks like, not how long it's going to take, but the technical side of it. Unfortunately, you got to have a basic knowledge.
Hmm. Yeah, and you really I mean, you shouldn't have to. I don't even like to use that term shouldn't. So what? That's the way it is. It's the reality that we find ourselves in. I was just talking with Jordan with One Contract Flooring, and I said, we find ourselves in a capitalistic economy. A lot of this is up to us as individuals to self-police, right? We are supposedly a self-governing society. The 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 fate of our industry is resting on the morality of the individuals who are taking part in it. That's what we're trusting on. I said the opposite is, you go to Europe, you go to Germany, and you have to go to school for 2 years before you can even set a tile. You have to become completely certified in a specific waterproofing system before you could ever touch a job site with it. I said, so those are the extremes we find ourselves in. Jordan's in Texas, where it's a Wild West. No, there's not even contractors' licenses in Texas. And then you have Germany, super regulated, uh, from the government. And so I think we can find somewhat of a happy meeting, but it's going to require us, and I told this to Jordan, us influencers or whatever you want to call us. We're the media that's pushing out the information so that the homeowners can see it. Because unfortunately, our regulating bodies, the NTCNA, TCNA, are horrible at marketing. Nobody even knows who they are. Nobody knows who the CTEF is. Nobody knows what a certified tile installer even means. These companies are so bad at marketing, and I've tried to help them, and they're the old school, tile. We don't need some YouTuber, vouching for us. We stand on our own. It's like, okay, good luck with that. You know, you got some manual that nobody ever picks up. I say TCNA and everybody thinks I'm talking about the NTCA, and I say NTCA and everybody thinks I'm talking about the TCNA. Nobody even knows. So we I feel like it's almost our duty, and what's great is the platform is there. I mean, people are you know, you said people don't have the curiosity for it. I think they don't even know it's a possibility. They haven't even explored it until they hop on Google and one of my videos or one of Hamilton Tile videos comes up, and then they're locked in. I mean, I average 10 minutes of view on my videos. It's People are locked in. Once they know that there's information out there, they want to know it. So I'm encouraging everybody who has a platform, we need to start talking about this. We need to start talking not only about the residential side, but the level of quality in our commercial side is in the gutter, man. You go to a hotel, you go to a public space, go to a bathroom, it's garbage. And who's even going to want that? Who's People are going to go be like, tile? What do you want tile for? It looks terrible. It's like it's all uneven, the grout's all misshapen, there's weird cuts, nothing lays out right. Like they'd go, well, let's just put in plastic. Let's put in some plastic enclosure. So this doesn't only need to be done on the residential side. Like we need to bring awareness to these commercial spaces again. Bring back the pride. I went to New York City, saw some of the best tile work I've ever seen in the subways from the 1940s. It's like these people took pride in what they did. It wasn't some GC looking for subs racing to the bottom. It was like, no, these people had pride because it mattered and people noticed it, you know. And so I really do. I think it's on us. There's enough of us out there. I mean, you go on the tile forums, you see what's out there. We need to get the word out.
Yeah, it has to be a complete cultural shift in a lot of ways. And yes, social media and marketing and influence can help with that. A lot of the problem, like when you mention that our tile organizations, is they're so bad at marketing, and the people that are good at marketing, Schluter, they're telling everybody it's easy. Oh, tile's
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah.
The people that are good at it are telling everybody it's easy.
Hmm.
Schluter, that's what I
Yeah.
get from them is, oh, it's easy. You know, we're doing training. Come on, no problem. Anybody can do it.
Hmm.
So that's obviously not helpful.
Hmm.
Um, and that's what that's another green flag for me are contractors that make content.
Hmm.
And I've been saying it for years now, and I suspected a shift by now within the public, but my point there is it should be part of your service to pick up your phone, which is a computer, and hit record, go
Hmm.
home to your Wi-Fi and post your videos. Like I'm watching what Apex Tile, Jason Morgan. That's
Yeah.
what this guy does. He
Hmm.
presses record, talks into it, and passes on this knowledge in his head
Hmm.
to whoever cares to listen. And it's fascinating to listen to a man that's been doing this for so long. And
Hmm.
like you said, it is encouraging that there is a crowd. I say it's a small percentage of the general public because I talk to a lot of people straight from Google, and those people, it's hard talking
Hmm.
to the people that are just Googling Google Maps tile setter near me and trying to present to them. Can you come out? They're saying to me, can you come up to my out to my house and give me a quote? And I'm like, hold on, how do I explain to these people the difference right off the bat? Because I don't want to run out to their house if they have a perception, if they're the type of people that aren't curious. I can't even sell to someone that's not informed.
Hmm.
But there's
Yeah.
hope because today I spoke with a guy that said, "Hey, I was on Chat GPT and
Yeah.
you came up." And I'm going to tell you,
Yeah.
I did not see this. I did not see
Yeah.
this one coming.
Yeah.
Is that because Hamilton Tile over the last decade has put out so much data onto the internet? When you type in anything into Chat GPT about tile bathrooms in this area,
Hmm.
Chat GPT and that AI sucked all that up and it spit Hamilton Tile out big
Hmm.
time. So guys out there, I just said A green flag is making content for contractors, and it's easy to do, and it's beneficial for you. It's beneficial for the homeowners.
Hmm.
But the more you push out there, the next wave, Chat GPT of search, and is going to smile on you, and it's going to pick you up, and is going to feed you and give you easier customers to deal with. Because Hamilton Tiles customers, we have a great time with these people. I really
Yeah.
like, we're working for a woman right now. She's a C-130 pilot. She's inviting us to the hangar to see the plane.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
We worked for her mama and her dad, and this guy, her dad is was an infantryman, a soldier, and every time he sees me, he says, "Man, that shower you built me looks like the day you left it. I squeegee it just like you said." And
Mm,
he said this to me 4 or 5 different times every time he sees me. And guys, there's another side of it. Servicing people fills me with happiness and joy.
yeah.
I love my customers, and I enjoy my job. And frankly, it's possible through content, pretty much through what Isaac does. I followed Isaac's example, and it's worked out pretty good.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I just want to touch back on something you had said about the perception of tile being easy is a bad thing in our industry. And I have direct experience with this because my videos, when I first started doing this content, Ben, in 2011, up until probably I don't know, 2018, 2019, I was making content for professionals. I wanted to show, kind of like Jason Morgan, right? Like I wanted to show, and how Tarkus, Mark Christensen, Tarkus Tile, they're making content to show professionals how to do something better or faster or different or whatever it is, sharing the trade secrets. And that's kind of what I was doing. As my channel evolved and more people started doing DIY projects, that's just kind of where the channel went. So I kind of forgot how hard tile was because I was just kind of in the mindset like, oh, a trowel is easy. You scoop the thin set out and you put it on the wall, right? And the Schluter, the movements of getting the Schluter tape down. I mean, it's easy. You put it down, you put one trowel to hold it, and then you push down with the other. These basic movements I took for granted. And I did. I think I kind of fed into that. Like anybody can tile it, you can do it. It wasn't until I started doing the one on one consultations in the forum that you've been a part of that I was getting the feedback from people and going, oh, these people can't do it. This isn't easy. I forgot what it was like when I first started. And also I have a different skill set. I have a different innate, I don't know if you call it talent level, but it's a fine motor skill, strength kind of, and intelligence, being able to see layouts and patterns and design. I mean, there's so much to it. I realized what, the beginners can and can't do. And now I've been careful in my videos. Like I've been trying to, make a point. Tile isn't easy. Do not expect it to be easy. It's rewarding, it's gratifying because anything worth having in life is hard to do. I mean, and you can do it if you really set your mind to it and you have the right game plan. Like let me help you choose the right materials, choose the right system to give you the greatest chance for success. And then don't expect it to be easy. This is going to be hard. Get in the mindset that this is hard work. And you might not be able to do it. You might get halfway into it and have to pull the plug and call a professional.
Yeah, and let's talk about a little bit about the levels of tile too, because I see people make a 3x5 shower in the back of a basement on concrete with the toilet right next to it, 3 walls, glass door, curb.
Hmm.
Yeah, okay. You're probably, if you're kind of handy, a homeowner, you study,
Yeah.
maybe you just got into business, you're doing Schluter, it's not used a lot, it's on the slab. That's one thing. But
Yeah.
can I share my screen here? Let me
I'm
see.
not sure. Let's see. I don't know if
window
you
here. I
can or
just
not.
want to show here.
Okay.
I just, can you see
Okay. Yeah.
that?
Let's
Okay,
see. I can hold
this
on.
is a,
I got to put it in here. Hold on one second. Let me see with picture in picture. Yeah, there we go.
so this is a great example of what I'm talking about. Tile
Hmm.
work can be pretty straightforward. Yeah, it can be. And Schluter sells people that doing this picture is easy. Orange, yeah. Well, this guy kind of hired more of a basic tiler, maybe somebody that was more used to building on concrete, maybe doing more basic tile work. Well, he wanted a custom curbless shower pan, and that tiler, who was more of a basic level tiler, didn't have, I don't know how to explain it. He would be the type of guy that your people hired. Well, he
Yeah.
chopped up the top. He chopped up the top of these joists and butchered this bathroom. This bathroom is a heated floor with marble going on top of it. The heat goes into the shower pan. There's a freestanding tub right here. So
Hmm.
these parts are sloped. This part's flat. Then you have this to deal with. This plumber messed this up like 3 or 4 times, and Anthony, my friend Anthony, caught it 3 times, and the guy still couldn't get it right. This fixture was messed up a couple times. He couldn't get it right. They
Yeah.
messed up the electric for hooking up the Schluter, a
Yeah.
professional electrician, and the
Yeah.
tile guy had to come in and correct the situation. But this guy had to get screwed first to figure out that this is a very difficult application and not
Hmm.
like building a 3x5 shower in your basement. So there's levels to the game, is my
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. When people get to, let me see if I can get back in here. Okay, and then let me get you back in here. Um, right. Okay, there we go. No, you're dead on. I talked with a guy this morning. I had a one-on-one consultation with him, and he was hell bent on using, the linear drain with the Schluter. They have this metal profile that kind of tapers for like a sloped linear drain. Have you ever seen that? It's this weird metal piece that instead of cutting your wall cut at a taper, it's basically the metal piece tapers so that you can stack on it, and it integrates with an anchoring leg into the floor. It wasn't a rectangle shower, and I'm going, okay, so he's wants to start setting tile on the walls, and he's going to use a ledger and stack off of it. I'm going, and he's got heated floor in there, and I'm going, why don't start on the floor? Like you need to get your floor waterproofed. You need to get tile on it, grout it, protect it, so you don't end up with some build outs where you don't know and you already have tile above and you're trying to meet to, you're going to deal with a bunch of build outs. So I said, start on the
These
bottom.
people try these people try to do the hardest
Yes.
application. Like this was with that
Oh
one
yeah.
I just showed you. Originally, the guy had it wanted planned on having a linear drain on the back wall,
Yeah.
right? Going along the back wall next to a place where there was going to be a freestanding tub, and wanted it all curbless. And I'm like,
Yeah.
who thought of that? What are you even talking about?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, it's pretty crazy, man, that, let me see, where did I go? Let me see. Where did I go? Oh, there I am. Okay. Um,
Yeah,
okay.
I think a lot of us really good tile guys can really, at this point we're making a living on the really technical, big money,
Yeah.
difficult stuff.
Yeah. The
Like
luxury.
that
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah. It's becoming, I mean, people, a bathroom like that, I mean, a shower like that, that's easily a $25,000 shower and bathroom floor. Easy. I mean, maybe 30. So this isn't, I mean, this is the most expensive fixture in somebody's home. So that's where the pro tile guys, at least in residential, are making their living. Yeah, the 3x5 shower with subway tile, or 12 by 24 even, 2x2 mosaic on the pan. People, do a tile ready pan, right? That you don't have to worry about. Drop a tile ready pan in, 3x6 subway tile. Yeah. And that's where I try to get people to start. But like with this other guy, he was so stubborn. I go, no, take that metal piece out. And he goes, well, then it's going to mess up my layout and my valve isn't going to be perfectly centered in the tile. I'm like, so what? He goes, no, that would just really bug me and my wife. I'm like, so literally, bro, you're going to screw up your entire job because you want your valve exactly centered in the field of a tile. I goes, it doesn't matter. We don't even take that into consideration unless it's like a joint that's right in the middle, but it's not. And so some people just are going to have to find out the hard way, but I think we can do a better job at educating people that there are definitely levels to this. Don't start out with the heated floor, curbless entry. Cuz I tell people, I go, dude, the getting the grades correct, the levels on a curbless shower it's precise. I mean, you're talking 16th, eighth of an inch over 10 feet that you gotta nail it. You're not dealing with like round numbers, like you're talking absolutes. And then your references have to be in line. Your floor has to be flat before you tell the framer, oh, it needs to be dropped an inch and 5/16. Yeah, off of what? Off of the high point or the low point of the floor? Like people don't know about all these things and it's so difficult to execute. It's like just put a curb on it. Curb, center drain. What's wrong with that? Nothing. That's how we've been building showers forever. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
I got another great green flag is a tiler that kind of does his own carpentry. I don't
Hmm.
think those things should be separated. Like your tiler is going to engineer the walls, your tiler
Yes.
is going to set up the joists if at all possible, or at least you need a really, really, really good carpenter that's hands on with the tiler and has worked with a tiler before.
Hmm.
Because even we work with a great carpenter, and even it's not what we need it.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
so if you can get a tiler that says, yeah, I have nail guns. This is I put my own stuff together so I can do the measurements and make sure these tiles end in a certain spot. So you can take at least one person out of it. I think, in my opinion, that's really helped Jason and I, because the last job we did, it came from plans, and Jason and I built the thing, framed it
Hmm.
all up, and we were able to nail everything, put
Hmm.
blocking in the wall exactly where it needed to be. Jason was thinking 50 steps ahead, and able to just nail every detail. And another part I wanted to mention is, when a homeowner is getting a remodel, the communication, there can be no barriers to communication, because the way Jason and I have been successful with our business is we talk to our homeowners every step of the way. Like, you got to be home. We don't do this when you're on vacation. We're going to pull you upstairs and ask you, hey, this is what our plans are for this. What do you think?
Hmm.
If you're inclined to have an opinion, you're going to be walking beside us the whole project, or have a drawing where you want things. That's a big thing, because I think
Hmm.
sometimes homeowners will just turn a guy loose in their home, come back a week later and be like, jaw
Mm.
dropped to the floor. And that's not the way to do this. And if you don't have a contractor that you can openly communicate with, and that you can't throw stuff back and forth with,
Hmm.
that's not a contractor you want to work with, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally correct. So yeah, I think the more of this information, the better. I think there's not enough because people don't like to be negative, right? It's like it's easy to share the positive stuff, share tips and tricks to other tile guys, show pretty pictures of your bathrooms. It's a little more difficult to be critical of anyone else's work. I've kind of made a channel out of doing it, and I've felt that it's done for a purpose. I don't do it just because I like doing it. I think it's necessary. I think it's necessary for us to get better. So I think we also need to kind of hold people accountable for what they're doing. And I I bring up the commercial spaces. I went to when I was in Indianapolis last week. We paid $460 a night for this hotel that had for one, a bathtub. Why does a hotel even have a bathtub? Build a shower. Aren't there elderly people that need to step into it? And then it had this crappy, plastic tub surround that somebody threw up in a couple hours, had a big old crack in it, and I left a bad review on the Expedia. I was like, the bathroom looked like crap. There's some cheap plastic surround for 460 bucks a night. I expect a nice tiled shower. And but again, if people don't even mention it, if they're just like, whatever, it is what it is, you think the architect is ever going to change? He's getting a kickback from this Sterling or whatever plastic surround company, or Bath in a Day, or whoever the heck is doing it. They're getting a kickback, so they're going to keep doing it until somebody starts complaining, and then all of a sudden there's public awareness of, oh yeah, that is a plastic. That's just a piece of plastic that somebody put up, and they don't even bring a leg on the outside of the tub. It's stopped right at the tub. The wallpaper's peeling back. There's mold behind it. I mean, I think we need to, again, not only show our work and how to do it right. Like, we need to also be critical. And I don't even think critical is the right word. It's you're just bringing awareness to what's wrong, and criticism doesn't need to be looked at in a bad light. I mean, that's one of our human flaws, right? Anybody says anything bad about us, and all of a sudden we're like, especially our wives, they could even say anything like, oh, you didn't put the dishes away right, and it's all of a sudden like, what do you mean? Oh, what, you don't like anything I do, right? It's like, I can never do anything right. I mean, we need to get over that. We need to be able to accept, some of that criticism. Like, hey, man, okay, well, maybe you do have a point. Maybe you've been doing it longer than us. Then, yeah, let me take a look at that. Mr. Architect might be, yeah, maybe I've been getting away with a little more than I should have. Let's do a little bit better job here. GCs.
Again, a green flag for homeowners with your contractor is the person that takes effort into making content. Because
Yeah.
we've made so many advances in our own skill from criticism. You want to improve yourself. You put your stuff on the internet,
Hmm.
okay? And I still stand behind. That's why a lot of people don't, is because they can't.
Hmm.
And that's why I say it's a green flag, is because you can look and see what you're going to get, and that
Hmm.
that that that's it. That to me is important. And I would, well, I see a lot of people will be okay and accept poor results for the right price. Think about that one for a second. I've seen that one before, where they'll justify it in their head and rationalize it. Oh, it's only in the basement and it wasn't that much money. It never gets used.
Hmm.
So it's a call. That's a value system there,
Yeah.
where only certain people. I've talked to certain people that understand tile and its purpose, and that's what I'd like to encourage other tilers to do, is talk about the lasting benefits of tile,
Yeah.
and talk about how you can use your product for
Hmm.
multiple years, and why you use this installation technique in order to hopefully elongate the life of the tile job and the life of the space.
Hmm.
Because that is actually, tile is the least expensive finish because it lasts the longest. My
Hmm.
my my, my mother's house has tile from the 50s still,
Yeah.
pink,
Hmm.
pink
Four
four,
by four.
pink and blue, four by
Yep.
four, beautiful. It has its signs of age, but that stuff is still there. And
Hmm.
and I think I saw one piece that was missing.
Yeah.
That's what I hope. That's what I hope to build, and with our techniques, and with someone doing tile with care,
Hmm.
that that's what ensures the long lasting benefits of tile. That's the
Yeah.
message that needs to get pushed out there.
Yeah, so I think from a subcontractor point of view, we should talk about uh, the general contractor green flags as well. Like, what makes a good general contractor? And, I got Henry D just said props on getting the Nugget Market job. I mean, there's an example of a good general contractor who got a really good commercial job because they paid well, they were willing, they know what quality is. They didn't go out and get a bunch of bids and get the lowest bidder. They hired us. Our team went in there and treated it like it was a $2 million home. We, there's no miscuts, beautiful herringbone pattern on the floors. I mean, everything's flat, level, no lippage. And I mean, and what a difference. It's not just gosh, I mean, I feel like it's our duty to our communities and the lasting impact. These things affect our way of lives more than we even realize it. You walk into a nice space with good craftsmanship, and it changes. It's a different elevated frequency that that you're in a space that somebody cared about. And so much of our world is just walking around in this fog and just nothing matters, nihilistic, who cares? No dopamine left anymore because they've already used it up on all their vices and they're just walking around. And it's like we need the public spaces to bring about that energy again and like fervor for life and art and culture and craft, that these things are human made. These spaces were cared for, and this is where we live. These are the spaces we use and live. It sounds crazy that it's a bathroom, but it makes such a big difference. It's crazy that you're talking about a supermarket meat department on the wall, but the whole thing matters. And that goes back to the general contractor, the nugget market, who knows that that stuff matters. They value it. They're a family company that's been in business since 1927, and they know what it takes to make people feel welcome, cared for, and loved in their space. And that's what it is. Green flags for a general contractor, we need to be looking for those too. You know, are you getting other bids on this project? How many other bids are you getting? I've heard that before. People say, "Oh yeah, I'm getting a few bids on this." Well, good luck. I got 3 other bids on my table too. What is, are you looking for the cheapest? Is that what you're doing? Like, is that how you're figuring out? Because if you're doing that, this is this is a losing situation. This is a lose-lose. Nobody wins in this. So I think there's things with the general contractors, because a lot of our viewers here are not as fortunate as us to be dealing with direct homeowners. They're not the best at marketing. They don't know how to get in front of people, and they're relying on general contractors feeding them work. And I know that one of the green flags is a contractor who is willing to work with you on price. They might have some kind of negotiation tactics, but if they're trying to beat up your bids every time and they're threatening stuff like, um, you know, let's do it for cheap on this one. I talked to Jordan about this one. Give me a good price on this one because I got 3 more down the line. Those are the red flags. But I would say the green flags are not questioning your bid. What's your price? I believe you. I trust you. You seem like a good guy. I don't think you would rip me off. You know what it takes to run your jobs well and get paid, and you got a family. You deserve to have that. That's a green flag, right?
Yeah, and this is where you and I connect because I got fired up when you were talking about building those spaces that inspire. And I've been on a church tour up north in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, and in that surrounding area because my
Mm,
father recently passed.
mm.
And there are,
Well,
I
sorry to
went on
hear.
a yeah, thanks for saying it. I
Hmm.
went on a Catholic church tour And you want to talk about spaces that inspire.
Mhm.
There was a Monsignor of the one church, Precious Blood, and he's a French Canadian man, and he inspired the community to put up this amazing church, right? And he is in a tomb in the corner of this church, and they can't sell the church or move the church because this man is there, and what was the basis for these people to do this type of work? I don't even know if a lot of these places can be restored because these skills and these type of workers have become obsolete. But what was the inspiration for this type of stuff? And I posted a prayer to Saint
Mhm.
Joseph, model workman.
Mhm.
Okay, and it goes a little like this. Please bear with me.
Mhm.
Glorious Saint Joseph, pattern of all who are devoted to toil, obtain for me the grace to toil in the spirit of penance, in order thereby to atone for my sins, to toil conscientiously, putting devotion to duty before my own inclinations, to labor with thankfulness and joy, deeming it an honor to
Mm.
employ and to develop by my labor the gifts I have received from Almighty God, to work with order, peace, moderation, and patience without ever shrinking from weariness in difficulties, to work above all with a pure intention and with detachment from self, having always before my eyes the hour of death and the accounting which I must then render of time ill spent, of talents unemployed, of good undone, and of my empty pride and success, which is so fatal to the work of God, all for Jesus, all through Mary, all in the imitation of you, O Patriarch Joseph. This shall be my motto in life and in
Mm.
death. Prayer for
Mhm.
workers to Saint Joseph, the model workman.
Wow.
Um, so when we think about a culture that builds dignity inside of the worker, that's what I'm speaking of.
Mm.
And this prayer was in my dad's missal that he carried with him most of his life. He was born in 1948 in an orphanage in Brazil, and he
Wow.
became a professional soccer player. He was raised by nuns with big hands, and he became a professional soccer player. And he eventually moved to the United States and always worked really super hard jobs. And part of his eulogy about what my brother remembered of this man that just was the epitome of the workman, really. He worked in factories, textile mills, etc. And I just wanted to read to you one more thing
Mhm.
about where my mind comes from, when we talk about work. Um, and this is from about my dad. Uh, to this day, Dad, I will remember your dedication to friends, faith, and family. To this day, I can smell the blend of wool and chemicals that clung to him when he came home from work. He worked long hours at demanding jobs his entire life, but I don't remember him as the stereotypical beaten down factory worker. Quite the opposite. I remember a man that worked hard, ate like a trash compactor, then gave even more of himself, working around the house, volunteering for school fundraisers, churning out gallons of chili for the Knights of Columbus, and just generally lending a hand to anyone that needed any physical labor to be done as long as you didn't ask him to do painting. It took me a while to understand why, whenever I thought about my dad's dedication to those around him, his hard work kept coming to mind. Then I realized that his labor was his way of showing love, and our gratitude was how he felt love in return. The more he loved for you, the harder he wanted to work for you, whether it was his family, his church, or his friends. It was perhaps his slow loss of this important outlet of expressing and feeling love that made these last few years the hardest. And
Mm.
when we think about the culture of the workman, where you're not some beaten down piece of trash,
Mhm.
like that's sometimes how we feel when the pressure of the world is on us
Yeah.
to perform, sell jobs, do the jobs, and then you just get home and you know what you want to do? You want to drink a six pack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
like no, 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 and
Mhm.
that's what we need to be as workers, because a part of this is revamping. the image of the contractor. It's public relations.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
also encourage everybody to really dial into how we're presenting. And I'm not perfect. I'm a sinner. So I mean that, but that example of my dad, he never was he like that type of just beaten down type of worker. He worked hard and he really represented his community and his church, and that's yeah. Cheers to
Oh,
that. I hope I
cheers.
yeah.
No, that was awesome, Ben. Thanks for sharing that. I think there is a um, whether we know it or not, there's a higher calling, higher purpose for us when we are doing our work and our craft. And I think the more that the world tries to take that away, the worse off we are. I'm I'm ironically I'm feeling more hopeful in the generation of kids that are, I would say, between like 12 years old and maybe 22, 23. I think these kids that dealt with the COVID lockdowns and they've already been through so much in their life. I mean, they had to figure things out on their own. From what I've known, because my son is 16 now. Him and his friends, they lack some of the drive, some of the, I guess, grit. I feel, but it's not a lack of work ethic. It's they're very careful. They're more pragmatic, more careful, more thoughtful, more caring, and I feel like that generation, once it gets up into the workforce and is mixed in with what we got going now, I think that's where a lot of these things are going to start to change. I mean, it's a more sober generation. I mean, alcohol sales have dipped to the basement. They're not they're not doing a lot of the reckless behaviors that our generations were doing, and they're a little more focused. So I think that generation, ironically, as the complaint about them is that they're lazy and their heads in the clouds and all this stuff. I think they're going to be some that usher in a new age of what matters. What matters. The actual physical building of things and the way things look and feel. They'll be a little more in tune with that than I think our generation was. A little more survivalist, right? For some reason, we were just, I don't know, felt like we just had to make it on our own, pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, and just by whatever means necessary, we make it happen. Which those are beautiful traits, but it also leads to the white teeth contractor sending out the guys in the mystery van so that he can scale his business, right? I think
Well, that
the
but here
generation
aren't we
below.
aren't
Yeah, go ahead.
aren't we looking though for the green flag to be a man that allows dignity for his crew? How's he
Yeah.
working his guys?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and do people have care enough, and do they have the
Yes.
discernment to say that? Because I'm getting to be 40 years old. Jason's 45. Like I'm at the point now where I know there's 20-year-old guys that can work faster than us,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And that can
Yeah.
like perform like these, because I remember I was performing then at a peak performance, right? You
Mhm.
slow down,
Yeah.
and it becomes, is there humanity there?
Mhm.
Because I look at how our houses are built, and I don't see that these people are being treated humanely in a lot of,
Mhm.
like, that's not the work of people that are working with
No.
dignity.
No. No. I think a green flag would be, do the employees have a true does the contractor's workers employees have a true livable wage or rate that they're getting paid? Maybe you can ask that. Can you tell me about your employees? Can you tell me about your subcontractors? Do they, I know you probably can't ask them, but do they own a house? Are they able to afford to buy their own house? The American dream. Are they able to reach the American dream by working with your company? You know? And again, raising the bar. I mean, my guys do. I mean, I pay them so that they can buy their own house. They have a livable wage, true livable wage. They're always going to want more, and that's always a dance that we got to work around. And but I feel motivated. I mean, that's one of my motivating factors to growing and expanding my business, is so that I can provide a better life for my employees so they can continue to grow. Because if I just stay where I'm at, they have to stay where they're at. There's nowhere else. The bottom line has to make sense. So unless I can raise how much I'm either charging or producing, then they're going to be stuck where they're at. I think, but not again, get back to the morality of it. Not everybody is like me or you who wants the best for their workers. They're like, I don't care. He could live in a box. I don't care. And so I think, yeah, the green flag would be, how does the owner of the business treat his employees? And that could be the tile setter and helper. How is the helper of the job treated? You know.
Yeah. No, that's a I love talking to you because this has been a very idealist conversation, and I think that would be the main criticism that people would have, is because Jason and I talk about it all the time. Like, why can't we just downsize the house and make everything much better? And
Mhm.
everybody, that's kind of an idealist way to
Mhm.
look at it too, but because it like yeah, like things are going to go up in price. And that's what we struggle against, is
Mhm.
just the raw numbers. And in my business at this point in what we do, and in our business history and careers, I'm getting further and further away from trying to convince people that might not be able to afford it. Like I try to say, are you ready, willing, and able to hire us?
Mhm.
And that's something that I try to figure out on the first phone call. Can I
Mhm.
help you? And are you ready, willing, and able to
Mhm.
hire a company like mine?
Mhm.
And sometimes it just comes down to the hard numbers a lot of times.
Mhm.
But Jason and I also kid that people don't go without their new cars or their vacation and then
Mhm.
that kind of stuff, though. It's just
Mhm.
about what you value.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, I think does the contractor value himself? Like, what kind of business does this guy have? I
Mhm.
mean, and I don't want to talk about like, yeah, what's the system to
Mhm.
me? Like, I would, if I know for a homeowner, sometimes they have a preconceived notion about how things are going to go. I'm going to go to the store and pick up the tile. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I would look for a contractor with a set system. This is how we do things. And if sometimes you want to do something and he says, yeah, I'm sorry, that's not how we do things, I would just assume the best at first, as if the system is up front. Because some one of the guys I really like, Bill. He's out in California. Bill has this incredible system from start to finish, design the whole thing. And you're talking to Bill, and when you look at Bill, you know he's a solid guy. He's got
Mhm.
Lerone, his guy. Lerone, you can tell he's a solid guy, and Bill's just that type of guy that, you know what? Bill Barber Construction, homeowners, look at his stuff and then compare it to whoever you're hiring. Let me
Yeah.
just give him a really great compliment.
Mhm.
You don't really know what I'm talking about until you see it.
Yeah.
And Bill probably costs more than 90% of people So sometimes I speak about the gated community in our business where, sometimes the price is just to keep people away that don't understand and aren't willing to, like the guy you were talking about with the ledger stripped. Oh, I want it
Yeah.
perfectly centered.
Yeah.
You need to be prepared to be flexible when you're doing,
Yeah.
especially remodeling.
Hmm.
So yeah, I just think the system is super important. I know homeowners don't want to believe it because they think, oh, a system means more money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Like, but somebody is taking responsibility. Like
Well,
Bill, Bill,
yeah.
Bill sometimes tells me about the things he goes through with his customers, and,
Hmm.
and he's making things right. And
Hmm.
you can just tell looking at the guy that that's the kind of guy that would do it. Check out Bill Barber Construction. Bill, if you're
Yeah.
watching, you the man.
Yeah. Jordan left a comment on here that I want to talk about. He said, "Do you all think it would be good to share how much we pay out in labor for laborers?" And I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't because things are relative. People don't understand different play. But I think it would be good to talk about your laborers, talk about them as people, who they are, what their interests are, what they're like, how old they are, how many kids they have, are they married? I mean, yeah, talk about who they are as people, right?
Yeah, integrate them into the
Yeah.
business. I see a lot of people have success with that. Where yeah, yeah, what was his name? Bill or what was the, the guy. He's
Hmm.
going to take care of you. Oh, I love you. He was great. Type of deal.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
And encourage your guys. I would almost encourage, like, I think, yeah, that's a part of this is the best builders I've ever worked for humanize us. They don't
Hmm.
just treat us like we're somebody in the background.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, Homes and Landscape said getting multiple bids doesn't have to be about lowest bid for a master bath reno. The most important thing may be vetting the system and confidence in the team, not the price. So yeah, there probably is. Yeah, to be fair, right? There's probably people out there that aren't getting the three estimates based on just price alone. So yeah, I'm glad we kind of cleared that up because yeah, maybe you just are looking for what's out there. Um, and but yeah, I think what's frustrating when it's frustrating for me is when I know because I've done enough of this in my area, and you speak about Bill Barber, and I know who he is. He got excellent contractor. I know I am, if not the best contractor, bathroom remodeling contractor in the Sacramento area. I'm one of the best. I know that I've been doing it long enough. I know the service we provide. I know the customer service. I know the skill level my employees provide. And so what's frustrating for me is when I go and I have a homeowner who knows that, who's seen my work, they know me, but then they still go out and get the other bits. And I'm like, well, I've already told you, you already know who I am, what I do. So obviously now it is about price because you're not going to find anybody better at what we do than me. But, you know, I guess you might find somebody cheaper. So that would be the reason why you go out and talk to somebody else. So I don't know. That might just be kind of petty of me, but that is something that bothers me because I go out like this failure that I just did, and I listen to these stories of these contractors that are coming in at 3 p.m. and they're leaving red guard fingerprints on the tile, and the tiles got bird baths in it and mismatched, and I'm going, you know, this I know how good I know how valuable our company is. I know what level of service we provide and how valuable it is. I mean, the fact that your wife is going to feel comfortable with my workers in your master bathroom, right? What kind of price do you put on that? I mean, it's got to be a big number. Like you have a wife at home, right, Ben? I mean, what does that matter to you? Probably matters a lot.
What would be some etiquette things that would be good to expound upon for homeowners that might not know how to talk to a contractor? What are some etiquette things that you can think of that might, like, hey, don't don't try to contact your contractor after 5 p.m. That's just kind of business out after business hours.
Mm,
If it can wait,
yeah.
maybe little things like that. Can you think of anything?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that, Ben? I was reading a comment here.
Yeah, what are some etiquette things, like, etiquette,
Mm,
how you treat someone, how, like, that a homeowner could employ to get on a contractor's good side, because there's some things that
mm-hmm.
the public does that immediately bugs me, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, wow, like, and it like for example, like I just said, like, oh, don't call after 5 p.m. because we're unless you have a burst pipe, some huge emergency.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh, that's a good question. That's a good, maybe some of the viewers can chime in with that. Um,
Yeah, one of the things, even mentioning sometimes that they're getting, like, I don't even like the multiple bid thing. I don't like to open up a relationship with somebody that we're going to be in your house for 2 or 3 months, knowing that you're courting with somebody else. Like, why did you call me? Like,
mhm.
I
Yeah.
don't even like the concept of that. Like,
Yeah.
you're kind of saying that too, that I
Hmm.
don't even like the concept of the 2 or 3 bid thing. Like, why did
Yeah.
you call me? You can't see
Yeah.
what you're going to get online. I'm
Yeah.
not I'm not trying to stiff anybody. These are the numbers.
Yeah.
We pretty much have a simple
Yeah.
system, billing system, and I can
Yeah.
explain the whole thing to everybody if you'd like.
Hmm.
It's just that multiple bid thing is kind of
Yeah. I,
interesting. I like, how did that become a phenomenon,
yeah, no, I
or a
think that's, I
safe or
think
safety?
that is a great point. And I would say that is an etiquette thing. Um, y- Whether you're getting three estimates or not, why are you telling me? Right? That's information that is irrelevant to me, other than you're trying to use it to your advantage to get me to come down on price. That's the only thing I can think of. It's
Good
not,
point. I didn't even think of that.
yeah, it's not relevant information. You can just say, yeah, we're going to think about it. Of course. Yes, go home, do your research, think about it, talk to other people. But you don't need to tell me, by a homeowner telling a contractor, just to let you know I'm getting other bids, is their way of passive aggressively saying they want a cheaper price than you. I mean, that's the only way, that's how it's received by contractors anyway. So I would say that's definitely an etiquette thing. If you are a homeowner and you're getting other estimates, great, that you probably should, but you don't need to tell the contractor. I did I did an estimate once. This was back, right after the market crash, when, prices were terrible and everybody's scrounging for work, right? Back in like 10 or 11. And I get a call from somebody who says they'd like me to come out and give them an estimate on their tile project. They had, some flooring to do and a few walls, bathrooms, backsplash. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'd love to come out there. So I drive out, and it had to be a specific time. It was kind of weird. He goes, "Yeah, can you make it at it was like 6 p.m. on a Thursday or something, whatever it is." I'm like, "Oh, that's usually when I'm at home." But anyways, yeah, I'll make it work because I need the work. So I go out there, and there's like five or six other trucks like in there, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe he's coordinating this with like the electricians, or so maybe he didn't have time. But it was weird because it was his house. It wasn't like it was a house in escrow that they had to time it to get everybody there. He lived in the house. He was literally getting five different tile prices. I walked into the house, and there was one of the tile guys I recognized, and then a couple that I didn't. And we're standing in the entryway, and I just started cracking up. I go, "Are you guys all here to bid this tile work?" And they're like, "Yeah, he told us to come at this time." And I just cracked up. I was like, "Okay, like, good luck with this, guys. Have fun." And but talk about an etiquette thing. I mean, again, the only reason he did that was to, you know, try to get people to give him the lowest price. And
How
it's
about how about
just
how about this one? I get this all the time. How about the people will call and they won't do any research or even like say my name. It's very clear
Hmm.
that you're probably calling Ben.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be great if before you as a homeowner call the contractor, jump on his website, get the guy's name,
Hmm.
and say, hey Jim, this is so
Hmm.
and so. I was looking at your stuff online and this is what I liked, so I gave you a call. I think a lot of it is the opening lines because I've always had success. Like you hit it off good. People that become endearing and have understanding of the fact that you're running a business and that you're a stranger. Like a
Hmm.
lot of these people, hey, I need you to come over and give me a bid, give
Yeah.
me a quote. Whoa, whoa,
Hmm.
whoa, whoa! Back up. You're
Yeah.
talking to a human here. First
Yes.
off,
Yes.
so that's another etiquette thing. Is like, no, 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 no. I need you to come over here and give me a quote. Hey, my name is Ben. I'm just calling because I'm looking for some information on a bathroom remodel I need
Hmm.
done.
Hmm.
Is it? And then like you know, humanity,
Yeah.
dignity for the person you're talking to. Like I talk to a lot of rude people from Google, and
Hmm.
when you listen to my demeanor, I think I'm pretty good on the phone and friendly.
Yeah.
And and when somebody opens up with, "Hey, I need you to come out and give me a quote," so you need me to spend my gas money, my time, my marketing material for something that I may not do. Like, let's
Yeah.
get this straight. That
Hmm.
I may not do your job and you want all this for free. The vast majority of the public, they're not thinking that they're going to pay a consultation fee. If I could unite the clans, I would have everybody charged for a consultation.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's, yeah. I mean, yeah, the short voicemail that you get that's just, I need to get a price on my bathroom. Just give me a call when you can. Da 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 da. It's like, oh, okay. You need it. You need it, but you're not asking for it. You
Yeah,
know, how
I've
about,
had great success. I've had great success with the form because it does it gives them it gives them a
yeah.
buy-in, and you have the information that you need, and you have all the information, and you can call them and do a decent phone conversation with
Mhm.
them.
Do you,
But I even say it on my message. Hey, fill out my form, my voicemail.
mhm,
Hey, fill out my
mhm,
form, and if that's not an option, leave a message. And
mhm,
people still want to call, even though you can just fill out the form. I literally have everything I need to probably write you a rough estimate,
mhm,
and that service is not used as much as it should be, in my opinion, by the
mhm.
public yet. Because
Yeah.
I've done a $2,500 repair where I never talked to the woman.
Mhm.
We She sent the form in. Jason emailed her back and forth a couple times. We gave her a bid an estimate. She sent a booking check to Jason. We scheduled her for a couple weeks later. I never met the lady. We never went to her house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So use the technology again. I'm a big use the technology if you can.
Yeah,
Even
it's
even
there.
even use an AI for how to build a shower because
Mhm.
if you put the right prompts in there, it's probably going to give you some pretty good information
Yeah,
because there's a lot of it out there.
yeah, it's gonna get you that 90%. The problem is um, there's so many nuances to our industry that is it on a slab? Is it on a wood foundation? Is it
Yeah,
24 on center studs? Is it there's I mean, I've tried to create a course for tiling a shower, and it's been something in the works for like 3 years because I keep coming up with all the different circumstances in American building. Is it a basement? Is it cast iron plumbing? Is it PVC plumbing? Is it, metal studs? Is it on cinder block? You can just go on and on and on trying to figure out. So AI, the AI answers, yeah, it can get you, somewhat there, getting you the right products probably and stuff. But as far as, you know some of the information is going to get mixed up too between like is it a traditional system or is people start talking about pre-slope, and they got a Curdy system, or vice versa. There's no weep holes in the Schluter drain. It's like, well, you guys are confused on the two different systems. There's so many little nuances that I think what's going to be really helpful, and I'm kind of working on this platform right now, is is a way for people to be able to get a hold of contractors in an on-demand fashion, right? Like, say it's a homeowner and they see their tile guy doing something. Hey, I need to talk to a pro right now. Boom. And then somebody, Ben Hamilton in Atlanta, Georgia, gets a notification. Oh yeah, I got a minute. Let me hop on here. Boom. Hey, how's it going? You got a question? Yeah. Do you know if I should be doing this or this or this? You know, I mean, that
Tile
type of,
coach approved. Tile
yeah,
coach approved. Guys that
yeah.
that will give good advice. Imagine
Yeah.
a homeowner would pay to get Tarkus
Oh,
on the app for a minute.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's
So
a great idea.
yeah, because again, there's so many different nuances to our trade that you can't just have. I mean, the TCNA book is this thick, and it's just barely breaking the surface of how to actually do something on a job site. And so it takes somebody with that 10, 15, 20 years of experience and all of the different types of homes that you work in, and it might even be geographical. I mean, the way that you guys build in Atlanta, Georgia is probably different than we build out here in Sacramento, California, and vice versa. So you kind of need somebody, and then yeah, in that on-demand fashion. I mean, the next step is, well, I'm kind of in over my head, can I get a price on it? You're a professional. Can you just give me a price on it? Sure. Fill out the form. There you go. Fill out the form. We'll see. So yeah, I think I kind of have that in the works, and hopefully we have something launched here by the end of the year.
Yeah, that's
And
incredible. That's a great
mhm.
idea because that is what people need. I just wish people would take some of these steps before they tear the
Yes.
bathroom out. Because
Yes.
because another one for me, an etiquette thing and a weird one is, hey, I tore the bathroom out. I would do this myself, but I don't
Yeah.
really have the time.
Yeah.
Can you come over and take care of it for me?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't tell. Yeah, that's another thing. Etiquette. Don't tell your contractor that you could do it, but you just don't have the time to do it. It's like, no, that's not true. You would do it. If you could, you would do it. No, you can't do it. You're in over your head. So just pay the piper and get the pro out there. And a lot of these people, to your point, they get a bid for $25,000 on their shower, and they're like, "Oh, this is crazy. I could just do it in such amount of time." It's like, "No, you can't." And then they'd say, "Oh, well, I'll never pay that." And it's like, "Oh, well, you'll go pay 70 grand for a Tesla to drive you around, right?" And it's like these people have it's priorities. Like, you
Here,
have the
here
money. You can make it happen. I mean, and this is a permanent fixture that's not going to lose value like that car or that vacation that you're actually going to spend your money on.
let me preach on this for 1 minute. Is the high time preference of the public. They want stuff done fast and they want it done now. And I would watch out for contractors that talk about speed. You can
Mhm.
tell that I talk to a lot of them. There's a lot of these guys out there that are these speed guys that are just obsessed and they have to tell you how fast they did it. And
Mhm.
in my content, I made, I think, an incredible video about the tortoise and the hare, Aesop's
I
fable,
saw that.
where I spoke about 20, Aesop was 500 years a Greek philosopher, writer,
Mhm.
500 years before Christ, speaking about slow and steady wins the race. That hare makes it starts fast and blah, blah, blah,
Burns out.
he burns out, and here comes the tortoise. Step by step by step. That's why I talk about the process. Is one of my selling things is we talked about it the last time we talked was the step by step process of building a shower.
Hmm.
Why couldn't a general contractor speak in those terms
Hmm.
if you were hiring one, or a bathroom remodeler or a tiler or anything like that for a homeowner?
Hmm.
And you know, I think people, I call it the fast food mindset, the McDonald's mindset, where, I drive up to the McDonald's, I make my order, and I go and get the food, and it's the same thing here as it is in California. And it comes on order when I want it on demand. No, in remodeling or even in construction, that's just not really how it goes. And you have to have
Hmm.
the discernment to choose the right uh, company, the right people,
Yeah.
and that's the challenge for people.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. And I think we need to push back on the speed thing. I really do. It's like, again, we're ending up in this place where there's companies marketing the 1 day installation. Like, and
And what do they get? What
that's
do they
their
get
whole
for that?
pitch.
People, no, but
That's
Isaac, to me, the American, that they're successful with that is because that's what the public wants.
Yeah.
They want it out fast. So that's why I said homeowners, that high time preference of having it done. That, and then you look at the finished product of what they're getting,
Wow.
and the inferiority of it is overcome by the fact that construction is completed quickly.
Yeah. Hmm.
Can't think like that. That's
I
not
mean, what
that's
are
that.
those? Yeah, what do those things cost? I think I've heard some outrageous bids for that bath in a day, that shower in a day, where they just put something like plastic over the existing moldy shower, and aren't they charging tens of thousands of dollars for those things?
Yeah, that's my understanding. That's my understanding,
Yeah.
because it's a quick solution,
Hmm.
and that's how they do it. And they flood the paint with their advertising too. If you look at Google, any Google ads, next door, they're everywhere,
Hmm.
with their marketing and with their messaging and with their short little videos that show them
Yeah.
putting it in, and it's very simple for the public to consume. The vast public, your audience, isn't that, and
Yeah.
that's why I appreciate talking
Hmm.
here, because you're reaching the people we can actually help. I think
Hmm.
there's a subset of people you're not going to help, because
Hmm.
human nature we're dealing with human nature here, fast, cheap, and that's not what tile is.
Hmm.
Tile is not that. It's
Hmm.
it's a it's a high upfront cost. It's slower, but it lasts, and
Well,
it's a
yeah. Yeah.
finish.
Yeah, and we were in Manhattan for my wife's birthday, in early July, and again, in the subways, yeah, they could have made their street signs out of any other material, that's a lot cheaper than mosaic tile. But here they chose to do it with tile. You think it Of course it took longer. It took 100 times longer to make it out of a mosaic tile than it did to paint something on a piece of wood. But they did it, and it's still there, and it matters to people. I mean, you see, after I had seen the subway, then I look around, I see other people, that are in New York, and they're posting pictures of these subway signs and everything. And so I think we need to bring awareness again. I think that's kind of the resounding feeling that I'm getting from our conversation here, Ben, is just awareness. People just don't have, um in a society that is completely bombarded with negative news of war and, whatever other issues, political crap on both sides. It doesn't matter, but they have people distracted, and they have us fighting with each other over race and gender and all this other bullshit. And it's like, our the public's minds are so wrapped up in that they're not noticing the beautiful things that humans can create in this world, and the connections that you can make when there is the the transaction of I'm going to pay you for your art, for your craft, for your hard work, dedication. I'm going to give you what is valuable of mine that I earned, and I'm going to give it to you because I appreciate it. And that connection is so needed in our society, but we can't even see that. All we can see is the political crap. We're consumed with it, and then the materialism and marketing of other things, and we're chasing all this other stuff, and we're so preoccupied with things that don't matter that we're not looking for those connections. And so let's do it, Ben. Let's be the let's be the voice. Let's be the mouthpiece of getting this stuff out there, because it will make a difference. My videos, I never thought in a million years that they would make a difference, and they have. It's taken time, and it's been slow, and it's not like everything I say is automatically spreads like wildfire. It's taken 15 years of making YouTube videos for it to even start to have an impact, but I've seen it, and everybody else out there can do it too. We can all do it. Let's start sharing. Let's start giving props to the craftsmen out there. Let's start, like you said, share the content of your work. Share it. Just share it. And let's call it out where it needs to be called out. When these public spaces are putting in crappy work, and when GCs are burning homeowners, and when all of this stuff is going on, we need to call that out too. Bring awareness to it. This is the stuff that matters. It doesn't matter if you voted for Trump, or you voted for, or if you think you like Joe Biden or Kamala. That does not matter. That hasn't affected my life one single bit. Well, I won't say that. I don't want to go that far, but I want to say it doesn't affect it as much as the personal interactions that I have with people and the public spaces in our area.
Yeah, man. And when I listen to you talk about that, I think back to that Saint Joseph prayer that I read, and those lofty intentions of turning your toil upward,
Mhm.
and using it to sanctify you, and thinking of grander things. And that's why I think a lot of times these great buildings and all in the things in the past were built, is because we did have these loftier ideals where it wasn't so much about the materialism and just um, and the things that we think about today. There was always that. There's always death, and there's always violence, and there's always war, unfortunately. But like you said, we've been blessed to not have it really affect us as much as other places in the world, and I thank God for that. And hopefully, like you said, our young people can really embrace maybe a bit of a different culture than what we were um, put in. Like, what's culture? Attitudes, values, and beliefs. It's the
Mhm.
soup. It's the soup that we're all in. And I'm hopeful because I have young children.
Mhm.
I um, I started volunteering for our trail life troop, and when I talk to you, well, here's a good example. The Trail Life Troop, they asked me to be the assistant chaplain, and I've never volunteered. I've never worked at a church or anything. I'm not even like I enjoy prayer and stuff, but I'm not, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if I could do this. Why me? And
Mhm.
then, I thought about it, and when I do this, when I coach, when I'm speaking with you, it makes me into a better person.
Mhm.
So that's another part of what we can do with even our content, and even what you and I are doing from across the country, is lift each other up in that way.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. And I think it is more the purpose of what's come. Of course, my stuff started out as a tile channel, but it evolved into something bigger, a higher purpose of encouraging people. And the effects, one thing that I noticed is I struggled early on in my life. I was in some pretty dark places. You've probably heard my story. You know, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, just, just lost, depression, you know, um, and I searched and luckily I found my purpose in installing tile and getting receiving the satisfaction that I got from homeowners. I found a purpose and I found um, a calling in that, and it changed my life. I mean, it literally, I don't know if I can say it saved my life. That sounds a little dramatic, but it definitely changed it. And so I know that by getting people into the trades and encouraging them and lifting them up, creating a better work environment, it has such a impact in communities, families, that my children, three of my children have never seen me intoxicated off of any substance before, and that's incredible. That's really cool. And in a society where men are causing so much wreckage in the lives of their own lives and the lives around them, what an impact it makes when men have purpose and value and can find a life in the trade, which my encouragement happens to be in tile and building. That has an impact in communities and around the world, because if you think about why do we have wars, why is Israel launching missiles into Gaza Strip 24 hours a day, women and children being blown up and died, people starving, these awful situations? Why are there mass shootings? Why does somebody sit up in the top of a building and fire down on concert goers in Las Vegas? Why do people walk into schools and shoot up kids? It's because men are lost. They're lost. They don't have a purpose. They don't care, and they're searching for something. They're searching for power. I mean, power and control. So the richest of the rich are getting together and they're profiting off of wars and other people's misfortunes. They're they're causing wreckage through infidelity. They're I mean, we cause so much destruction. And I'm not saying I'm definitely not perfect and I cause some problems, but by having a purpose and a fulfillment in the trades, the life, I think by doing that, we're not, because you'd look at it and you go, well, why is tile and these tiled spaces so important? It's because it affects everything. It touches human existence here. It touches on so many different things that um, it is important. It is important. There's no small things. It
I had
matters.
Yeah, I had that same experience as you, kind of at at the bottom of like rock bottom, and I started tiling with Jason, and that gave me that identity
Hmm.
to then really build other identities, like, and to really more, because I have this trade that I can make a good living at. I can focus my time. Well, now I can have a wife, and now I can have children, and I can join a church, and I can, all this different stuff that happens from just having that from tile. And yeah,
Hmm.
like you said, I really um, appreciate what tile has given me in that way. And when I think back, I think one of the greatest gifts we can give to our kids is to teach them how to work. I really like the
Mm.
videos online where these guys will
Hmm.
work with, like, have videos of them working with their children, and that's something that I've dedicated myself to. Is, I really appreciate my mother and father, because they made sure that I knew how to work,
Hmm.
like just get down and just work. And
Hmm.
I would like to see that identity of the workman be
Hmm.
okay, because now it's like, oh, hustle, 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 money, money, money. Like, just, you want to have someone else do the work. Why would you want to personally be the craftsman? Like, if you're a
Hmm.
successful contractor, you don't actually do anything. You
Hmm.
don't work, you don't build, you don't. right? I see
Yeah.
that kind of attitude where, you want to have other guys doing the stuff for you and
Hmm.
you handling checks.
Hmm.
And I feel like, I really think that there's nothing wrong with being a worker for a young man. It offers a lot.
No.
Like I'm telling you, like you, and it might be, you know, they say, oh, AI is going to take the job, do these jobs, and the world is
No.
changing. But I really still think we need people to do stuff.
Oh yeah.
And there's dignity in it, like you said. It makes you feel good. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
And
There's nothing worse in this world for our communities and societies than a man who doesn't feel good about himself. I mean, it's like the worst. It's like a cancer, a disease. Like so many of our problems are caused by a lack of self-confidence of men. And the way you get it is through hard work. I don't know of any other shortcut but through hard work that a man really feels like he is a man. Like and it can be different types of work. It doesn't have to be like physical labor, but that's probably the best way. I mean, it did it for
yeah,
me. I worked my
well,
ass off physically from 2000 from 1998 to 2015, pretty much 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. I mean, that is what I did. The company that I referenced earlier, the Nugget Market, that's been around since 1927. Eric's still the owner, who's the third generation, no, fourth generation owner. He started as a bag boy and sweeping the floors and did every single duty in that supermarket for 20 years before he moved up the chain. He knows inside and out how every job is done in his store because he's done it. The same with me. My guys, I'm speaking from experience. I tell them what to do and they know that I've done it before, and so there's value to it. So yes, you are 100% correct. There is no losing. You can't go wrong by doing physical work. You really can't. Not in this
yeah,
day and age. I mean, you can get stuck. I think there's ways you could get stuck, um, and not advance, but those are usually due to I don't know, a lot of circumstances that we could probably talk about. Um,
yeah.
but yeah,
Resource. I think there's, with the resources we have out
yeah.
there. I think like if you're going into the trades and you're coming out of high school, whatever, you master a trade. I think throughout that time you should use some of those resources for public speaking,
Hmm.
learning how to communicate as effectively as possible, so
Hmm.
you can explain what you're doing, you can speak, you can present well.
Hmm.
What do they call it? Looks max.
Hmm.
Um, you, I really, the appearance of construction workers, like all of it, if we're going to really make a cultural shift, kind of need. I think it's helpful,
Hmm.
to look the part. I you know I, what's Al Borland look like? That's what the public thinks a trusted construction worker is. This old
Hmm.
house. You'll see
Hmm.
me in the wintertime. I'll wear my flannel to make people comfortable. I'm thinking about this kind of stuff because it's a bigger picture now that I have kind of like a little bit of a successful business, I guess. Like it's always hard work, but um, I think kind of more bigger picture at this point, and that's another thing. Always be improvement. There's I think one of the best habits you can take as a man is to read.
Hmm.
I mean, this type of stuff, like this book right here, even any of these Zig Ziglar books, "See You at the Top." That's a gem right there.
Is
This
it
guy li- this guy lifts me up when I read him when I read him every
motivational?
time I read. He's just brilliant. And
Hmm.
this is the kind of stuff that we can do to up our game, to more successfully communicate. I haven't been feeling too charismatic lately, but I'm getting back into it because that's what we do.
Yeah,
But yeah,
there's ebbs and flows when I feel more, there's times when I'm definitely more energized and more excited. I feel recently I've had a few personal changes, and even just with um, my my wife has recently, she hasn't drank in like over 3 months, and she didn't have a drinking problem or anything, but it's just causing, she was starting to have trouble sleeping when she would drink wine, and just some other health stuff, and she decided to stop drinking, and it's been, I mean, our relationship just feels like it's gone to the next level. It's been so great, and it's just like, so I've had this kind of reawakening, just of stirring of stuff going on, and so I've gotten motivated into to doing more. Actually hired uh, this guy named Lance. He might be listening right now, but Lance has been helping for the last 3 weeks. You might have noticed some of my video content's been a little better. He's been on the camera and taken some of the editing off of my plate, and that was risk. I mean, I've been doing this thing on my own since 2011. Produced, edited, directed. I mean, I'm running the whole show, and I brought somebody else in because I needed that spark. I just felt like, we need to really get with this. We need to pump out more. We need to, again, awareness. I want to be the mouthpiece of the good message and get it out there. And so I've definitely, yeah, the last few months, man, I've kind of been on fire, and the construction, in doing that and offloading some of this stuff, I'd be editing videos for 8 hours a day, and then ignoring some of the stuff on my construction business. And so I've been able to pay more attention to that, and you know, the margins have been better because I've been more connected and watching things closer, scheduling better, going after more leads. We're booked into November now, and it's like those things happen. And I feel like I was kind of in a slump a little bit the last year and a half. Things just kind of seemed like, I was like, man, just not inspired. Like, everything's just kind of the same. It's like I felt kind of just like nothing really that exciting was happening, and that I wanted to talk about. Like, I wasn't really passionate. I was like, okay, I'm teaching people how to tile. Um, but now, yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with purpose from God. I really feel like this is a calling. Like, we need this now more than ever. People need to to feel that connection spiritually. I think it's a spiritual malady that our the men in our country are struggling with. I really do. I think it's a spiritual problem. I don't think it's it's not a money thing. It's not a opportunity thing. It's a spiritual thing. Once that spiritual connection happens, everything else starts to flow from it. So that's where the new energy has come from. Because when I try to make it come from me, from just me, like trying to make things happen and spit out things that I think are important, it falls flat. You can tell the energy, the energy and vibration level isn't the same as when I feel like I'm inspired and I'm doing it for a higher purpose.
Listen. In one of the prayers that we say is, "Glory be to the Father, to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it
Hmm.
was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen." So,
Hmm.
what does that say? Glory be. That's what you're
Hmm.
talking about,
Hmm.
and that's another part. Like, I've been saying this prayer most of my life, and it's hard to live that way of what you're talking about. But the greatest reward, I you know, I don't I'm we're a lot more self-centered. I'm a lot more self-centered than I'd like to be. And since I'm feeling what you're saying about, doing things for the glory of God and thinking more in that way,
Hmm.
it's a challenge, brother, in the modern world, isn't it? Everything's about the
Hmm.
self.
Hmm.
Even this would be a self-help book.
Yeah.
Uh, when really it's like, what's the power of prayer and just sitting there, and however you connect with the unknown and the supernatural, like doing that. Like I was speaking with Jason today, and he's like, "Well, I don't really know what happens," and he's kind of a skeptic. And I try to explain. I'm trying to say, hey, the Enlightenment happened, and then Protestantism and all this, everything became about the rational. Like Thomas Jefferson rewrote the Bible, but took out all the miracles. So there was no more supernatural with the Enlightenment and just, the French Revolution. Everything was like through the mind, like we science and technology, to where the supernatural and things just happening and nobody understanding why just kind of went away in a lot of ways to the modern man, to where when I
Mhm.
was speaking with Jason, I'm like, you got to see this, like it's a rationalization, I suppose. It's rational. I know
Mhm.
there's philosophy behind this, and I've heard people talk about all this, and I think that, to me, that it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
some things, like the supernatural is does exist.
Yeah, and here's an important takeaway. We've got this comment right here. I've been watching your vids on tile. So yeah, I'm not saying my tile instruction videos are not important, or I feel like I need to go off on some tangent to talk about how spirituality ties in with everything. Like, my content is going to be tile instruction, how to do tile, tips on how to run a business, but people are going to know, it's going to be self-evident. All of the stuff that we're talking about deep, because we're just shooting the shit on a podcast, that stuff is going to be self-evident as it flows through the content. It's going to be it's going to, people are going to know, they're going to get the message. It's going to come
Yeah,
through.
you get fired up when you talk about things. You're
Yeah.
like, where does the
Yeah.
inspiration come from? Like
Yep.
that's sometimes when I'm trying to film a video and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: when I'm when I'm filming, like I just filmed a 4-part series of the build we did,
Mm-hmm.
with that we were just finished up, and I'm kind of busting out the camera more often, and I can tell kind
Yes.
of Jason's not into it. And
Yeah.
it's funny because I'm putting the camera on him. And I'm like, I like to thank him because I do this a lot, and he's not that personality like I am. I
Yeah.
wish he was interested in holding the camera on me, and then
Yeah.
that would just be. But I'm holding the camera on him, and I'm like, say this. What was the line I was trying to get him to say? I was trying to say, we would like to help you reach your goals with your bathroom. I'm like, say it a little bit like this. And he just deadpan like
Yeah.
4 times. And even
Yeah.
more than I showed in the video, he was just like, we'd like to help you improve your bathroom. I'm like, well, try to put some, I don't know, heart into it. We'd like to help you reach your goal.
Yeah. No.
And yeah, but that's a kind of when you're not inspired, but at other times, it's you're
It comes
inspired to
up.
film.
Yep.
You feel natural. Like when Flow FX came out with that little great
Mhm.
template that you
Mhm.
could put on top, and it had the lines. You're just like, this
Yeah.
thing's awesome. Come here, film this, and
Yeah.
that type of stuff. That's
Yeah.
um that's out of the that's passion for what we do.
Yeah.
After and him for him, it's what, 23 years now, and I
Mhm.
still get fired up about it. That's what I would look for in a contractor or a tiler or somebody that's excited about it. Like
Mhm.
I'd like to say that every time at first phone call, I at least sound like excited about
Mhm.
maybe doing tile, right?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it is like, or what is it? Ora et labora, like work and pray. It's tedious. It's it's uh like if you think about, we set 2,500 square feet of 8 by 36 tile in a basement. We
I
leveled the
saw
thing with
that.
like 175
A
bags. Like
truckload.
that's what, how many that's like 1,000, just one after the other, same process, one, and it's just to some it would be monotonous, but you have to be passionate about it to do a good job to the end.
Mhm.
And it's funny now, all it is, it's just a floor people walk on.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
At the end of it
that
all.
homeowner watched the whole thing, and he appreciated it. It was
Uh-huh.
pretty cool, like huffing every single one of those bags down to the basement,
Mm-hmm.
mixing every single one because we had a timer. And then we got it down for 175 bags, where it's like, yep, 3 minutes, pour, and Jason's out there. So I got to the point where I got video footage where one hand I'm holding the mixer, the other hand I have a bag that I cut open, and I'm picking it up and pouring it in like this as the mixer's going, by myself as you know, and yeah, and it becomes a floor. But
Mm-hmm.
I was we I we like here's the thing that I'm guilty of. I'll finish a project and I'll just stand back and look, or I'll finish something like I'll finish a shower floor. How many guys have like, oh, let me just adjust that one just a little bit more?
Yeah.
Like I have a problem walking away. That's how what kind of
Yes. Ooh.
person I am.
Oh yeah.
Um, like and I've had it so where we pulled a child. I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
take
Just
off the
can't.
thin set and just
Yep.
go back to it tomorrow.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's
I
good.
know
Good
you've done
stuff.
that,
Oh yeah. Especially in my own house when I'm doing work in my own house, I'll keep going back and looking till freaking 10 at night, just like peek around the corner, still like, I'm pulling
but
it.
but some things you're not perfect. How about
Yeah.
that? How about me saying that? Like I
Hmm.
would never advise anybody to talk about how perfect they are with their work.
Oh.
I don't see it that much because I think people admit like I'll give you a 93%. I'll give you a
Hmm.
95%. There's gonna be something
Hmm.
that I'm not.
Hey,
And
here's a good question, Ben. How's your back? Like, so how's your back?
I feel good because of
Yeah.
how Jason and I work. We
Hmm.
work from 9 to 3.
Hmm.
He does most of the kneeling work, and I act as a helper. I'll set tile if there's two places to set tile, but I've been using Pro Knees for man, 10 years now.
Hmm.
AP16s. I'm careful about I've been a weightlifter. Like I did CrossFit for 5 years.
Hmm.
I've done collegiate lifting. Like I do kettlebells. I run. The back is fine. Where I'm having problems is my ankles because of
Hmm.
how I bend my ankle back when I'm sitting down.
Hmm.
It's almost like when it bends this way, the
Oh, gotcha.
plantar
Yeah.
fasciitis on one side, and
Hmm.
on the other side, it's my Achilles,
Hmm.
and I have to actively stretch, like stand on a kettlebell, do a slant box like knee over toes
Hmm.
guy. That guy's a miracle for for Tyler's the knees
Yeah.
over toes. Have you
Yeah.
seen him?
Yeah, I have. I've gotten into, so yeah, I had a lot of back issues from setting tile, and for most of my tile setting career, I didn't wear knee pads. Didn't wear them. Straight knees on the concrete. And I didn't think much of it because it didn't really hurt my knees. They kind of got calloused a little bit. And but what I realized was as I started having back problems, like about 15 years in, I think I had my first episode of back spasms, and then it got more and more frequent to where I was having, episodes of back spasms like every once a month, and deliberate, like I'd be out for a week, like couldn't move. And but what I realized was by not wearing knee pads, I was putting all of the weight on my lower back and my hips. And um so everybody I talk to now, I'm like, wear knee pads, dude. It's not about your knees, it's about your back. Like, save your back, take that load off of your back. And so I'm a lot more careful. I wear knee pads now, and then I've also kind of changed my workout routine where I do a lot of lightweight and high rep exercises. I usually don't use anything over a 10-pound dumbbell, and I'll do squats literally with 10-pound dumbbells, and I'll do 3 sets of 40, instead of where I used to throw throw 2 plates on a back squat and rip out 8 to 10 reps. And I mean, that's how I worked out for a long time, and I couldn't figure out why I was always getting injured. And it's like, well, I moved to lighter weight, higher reps. I'm getting more flexible, still building the strength, focusing on form. Um, and I went to a physical therapist who kind of showed me some techniques that were really helpful. I always thought you kind of had to, people would say, keep your back straight whenever you're lifting anything, right? You always would hear that term, don't twist or anything. And he said, actually, what ends up happening is people go too far and they're actually arching their back, which is like the worst thing that you can do for like your SI joint and your lower back. He said, you actually want your pelvis tucked just slightly. If you watch you watch the Asians, Chinese people in third world countries, and they're setting floors, they're not on their knees, they're squatting. Their back is like this all day long. They don't have back issues because they have their pelvis in the correct position. It's when you go the other way, and I'd always be making it worse. I'm like, oh, my back hurts, so I got to sit like this. And so I think physical therapists, that's what they do. That's their job. If you're having an injury, um, go to physical therapists. They'll teach you what exercises to do to strengthen. They'll teach you the right stretches, and just being mindful. And again, I think that's all been feeding into my higher level of energy and enthusiasm, is kind of this new workout routine where I'm not lifting a lot of heavy weights or doing super hard workouts. It's more like mindful. And I almost try to incorporate any of my exercises into real world activities. I mean, how often are you laying on your back pushing something up off of your chest? That's not a real nobody's doing that. I mean, but you would be lifting things over your head. You would be picking things up off the ground. You would be stepping up onto something. I mean, so I think those types of movements, I think, can keep your body healthy in this trade for a long time.
I like the kettlebell, Isaac. Like this year,
Yeah.
I did a New Year's resolution. I was getting a little sloppy, and I did a New Year's resolution, and I've stuck to it. Where it's 2 days at least a week of the kettlebells and
Hmm.
rowing, and a lot of the kettlebell movements I do are twisting. Like so,
Hmm.
we're gonna we're gonna clean, we're gonna snatch, and then we're gonna come down around and touch our
Hmm.
opposite foot. We're gonna do like, and I feel my core just getting more solid. That's more or less when
Yes,
I'm
core. Yeah.
at my highest weight and I'm
Yeah.
my belt. I'm like fighting to keep a belly off,
Yeah.
and it's yeah, like
And
I think we kind of think Jason and I have always thought long term. I've worked
Mhm.
12-hour days. I've done that, and I'm just not. We can't. I can, and I did it in February where I did a traveling job
Mhm.
with another crew, and we had a blast. It was
Mhm.
actually pretty fun when you look back on it now.
Mhm.
But yeah, we did 12-hour days. We drove an hour and a half both ways sometimes, and drank coffee, and it was great. And Yeah, no, I felt good. I still this was during Lent, and I was doing a lot of fasting. So
Yeah.
I would fast
Oh, dude, fasting is awesome.
Wednesday and Friday. So
Mhm.
I've been saying this for years on these public forums. Like, if as a tile crew, if you can cut out lunch, if
Mhm.
you can, or even a construction crew, just don't eat lunch and
Mhm.
just work 6 7 hours,
Mhm.
condense it all, and then
Mhm.
go home and eat dinner. And
Yeah.
that's kind of worked for us because we don't take lunch,
Yeah.
uh, and it's healthy too.
Yeah,
We just work through it and leave earlier.
I've made a few changes with my diet too. I usually do like I'll do typically do one 24-hour fast, like, and I'm talking 24 hours, like 8 p.m. to 8 p.m. No food. I'll drink water and some electrolytes or salts or whatever. But I try to do that once a week, maybe at the most once every 2 weeks. Like, just take a day, like I'm fasting this day, and then maybe once a month. Maybe once every 6 weeks, I'll do a 48 hour, and that's a real one. But
Here,
intermixed in those, oftentimes I'll just be like, I'm not going to eat until dinner. I won't eat during breakfast or lunch. Get home at 4 or 5 p.m. Eat a good meal. And every time I do that, it does a couple things. I feel like my energy level goes up. Scientifically, your testosterone goes up. So you get more energy. Your body's burning off the toxins out of here because it starts to burn the fat. And I'm not like I don't have a belly. I'm pretty fit. But still, those things build up. And then also the appreciation that I get for the food. And again, maybe that spiritual connection of how grateful I am that I have this fresh fruit. How fortunate, how blessed are we that we have this clean water, this beautiful plate of fresh fruit, this steak, this fat steak, just the peak of nutrition that you can get. And it's like I start to look at the food that way instead of piling it into my mouth like it's just some fuel source. That's where too much we're just thinking, oh, I got to eat, I'm feeling. And when you fast, you realize you don't have to eat all the time. We have this mindset like, oh, I'm lightheaded, oh, I'm grouchy, I'm hangry. No, that's just part of it. That's just part of, you do get the energy levels start to come up again. Your testosterone levels go up, so you might get a little more, uh you know I don't know how to describe that feeling, but you can go without food, like you really
you
can.
know,
Our bodies are set up to.
and we're talking. We spoke earlier about for young men. Like one of the lessons I've learned is, whenever I eat sloppy, drink, whatever,
Hmm.
doing a 3-day fast,
Hmm.
anything you might think you're a little bit hooked on that maybe might be you need to stop,
Hmm.
food, sugar, any of that kind of stuff, alcohol, do a 3-day fast. If you make it that 3 days and then keep going, 3-day fast, and it just cleans your system. I don't know the science behind it, but that really works for me.
have you
Like,
done have
and
you done have you done 3 days of no food before?
yeah, I did it
Wow.
3 times this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because
I
at
don't
the
see.
end.
I don't think I lose weight because I still drink. I like to drink like a fancy beer, like a hipster. You know. So
Yeah.
I don't. And one of the great things that I've done for my diet is source my own food. Like, I don't know if you know this about me, but I raise rabbits,
Hmm.
and I'll go out. I have 7 of them to harvest right now. And one of my weekend things is, tomorrow I'll break my fast. I did have a protein shake. I don't usually
Hmm.
on Friday. I'll fast on Friday, and tomorrow I'll go butcher a rabbit. I'll barbecue it. I'll do something fancy with it. Maybe
Hmm.
I'll do a bunch of them and brine them, and and that's been very beneficial for me. I haven't been eating like red meat. Not only is it expensive, but I get all this like the organic stuff. I can't keep track of all that.
Hmm.
I'm seeing that they're like gluing together different
Hmm.
cuts of ribeye. I was talking to Jason about it. Like, you can't these a lot of these food suppliers. It's just you can't trust these people.
Yeah, I love this. We got a hater on here. This is kind of cool. So, we're talking about self-improvement, how to improve the world, and of course, we get somebody who's saying we're full of shit and we have a hero syndrome. So, you're always going to get negative people when you try to do good. You're going to get people who, again, I've been doing this a long time and I don't take this stuff personally. I don't know what his deal is right here that he, you know, I don't know, but
I'm an I'm
we're
I'm an idealist. I'll say that. I mean,
but
it's
yeah,
better.
I mean,
It's hard.
I'm
It's yeah. Life is real. I get that, and things are the way they are. But you got to stay positive.
mhm,
It,
yeah.
like it, like these are bigger. These are concepts. I think a lot of these type of people can't even imagine concepts. When we think about when like there's a study that says 2/3 of people don't have an inner dialogue. Think
Mhm.
about that. And that's scary. I don't know how they came to that, but when I heard that, I'm like, wow, some of those people are walking around out there, and it might be this guy. I mean, he might not have ever thought about talking about any of these higher concepts in his entire life, and that's okay, man. I mean, if we were
Yeah.
on a job site together, we would probably get along. I mean, work and hang out, mix thin set, and
Hmm.
it's all good, man. When we talk about Tyler as an identity, you know, I keep advancing. I feel like I'm into a lot of different things. Like I was just talking about my rabbitry. I get
Hmm.
excited about that after work, taking care of my rabbits, and
Hmm.
and my kids see the circle of life. I have my garden out back. We do the Tyler's garden. Isaac,
Hmm.
that's good, wholesome content from Hamilton Tile, the
I
Tyler's
love it.
garden.
I
you
love it.
know
Yeah.
so I mean, and not everybody likes. I had one hater go on there and say, I came here for tile. Unfollowing. I always love that when they
Yes.
announce themselves that they're leaving. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I guess that I'm telling you, you want a good contractor, hire OBF Tile that's been online making his videos for years. That dude's skin is so thick, probably. Like you're probably not gonna get through that. Like
No.
I'm okay with it.
Hmm.
Like, but like I still kind of look at him. I'm like, that's funny. I don't like to read some of them because this year I had that one video that reached almost, like, I think it has 750,000 views on Instagram, and I've never had the incoming comments like
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
And I'm observing a lot of like
Hmm.
the overarching attitudes that I'm seeing coming
Hmm.
through, and looking at the likes and responding to some of these things.
Hmm.
And it was pretty interesting. It was fun, actually.
Yeah.
That video and getting that reaction, and I hope I helped people too, because I said in that video that you should entrust the tiler to supply the tile. Like the best rebuttal was, oh well, I don't let if I'm a plumber, I don't let the homeowner supply the pipe. If I'm an
Hmm.
electrician, the homeowner isn't bringing the wire.
Hmm.
I hope I opened a conversation to maybe get Tyler's paid to have a little organization in their system. And
Hmm.
then you get to see what some people say. Oh, I don't want the responsibility of the tile.
Yeah.
And it kind of of supplying the tile. And it kind of proves my point
Hmm.
that whose fingers are getting pointed where.
Yeah.
And and yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think I think anybody that bids against Hamilton Tile in my local area has gotten a raise. And I hope
Yeah.
I've helped them.
Yeah.
I hope that I leaving something behind in the tile world for whatever small amount of criticism. I get more bugged by the public. I wish they would be more understanding a lot of times. But this guy's probably going to say, "Oh, he's crying." It's like, no, it's just I don't think like a regular remodeling contractor, like a two-man crew, understands having the volume of calls that we get from Google. It
Hmm.
is insane. Like even last week, it was 5 that I had to field, plus the ones coming in, and it's all different stuff. And we don't book most of it.
Hmm.
Like I
Yeah.
can't
No.
book most. Like I
Hmm.
told the guy, I was like, "You want to give me 10 grand to do that floor right there, right now? If you had that money in front of me on the floor and to do the work, I would leave it there and walk away because it's not worth it.
Hmm.
It's not the what you want done is no, it can't be done for that. Not
Yeah.
by me." And
Yeah.
and and
Yeah.
that and that and I think I hopefully you're at the point with your YouTube channel where you get people that kind of more that I love getting someone that's watched me online first and just being curious. It just so happened to need a tile job, and then they call me. Like we had a customer last year like that who watched my $24,000 shower video
Hmm.
interview that I did with you, and we did his bathroom, and he was happy. Like we had a great. It was great. I love that
Hmm.
guy and his wife, and the job was one of those jobs where we're proud of it, and you
Yeah.
know, and they formed a good relationship with the guy from content essentially. Though I hope you're getting. Sal says he gets those type of customers a lot. Like those people keep him working.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Sal. Yeah. Sal. Pretty much all of his work. I think Sal was recently retired, but it's I think he said almost all of his, pretty much like 90% of his work was from YouTube content referrals. And I would say our business is probably approaching about 25%. I mean, again, I've been working in the area for almost 25 years, so we get a lot of referrals. We do some direct marketing to communities we want to work in. But yeah, it's a substantial amount. 25% of our jobs is coming from people who see us on YouTube, or I guess only YouTube. Instagram hasn't done, for whatever reason, hasn't done a whole lot for me. TikTok is an interesting one that I recently just started my TikTok back up since it got shut down. And I was never big on TikTok because, again, I didn't really see the value in it. And I'm a long form content producer. I'm not shorts aren't my specialty, right? I'm here to teach people how to do stuff, and it's really hard in a short form thing. So, but we fired the TikTok back up, got my login back in, and I put two videos on there. One's 20 minutes and one's 33 minutes. And these videos are doing great, and they're reaching my area. I mean, it's amazing. I'm going, these are people that are in Northern California, Sacramento. So we're hitting a local demo. I think that's going to be a lot more valuable for us, for our construction company, with the TikTok, just getting that content out there.
Yeah, yeah. This Lance sounds like he's killing it with you. Then, so he's kind of like, it must be a weight off your shoulder not to have to do. Is he doing tile too, or are you like,
No,
is he?
no, he doesn't do tile,
No,
but
so
he
he
can't. He found me because he was doing tile work, and then just in his own house. That's how he found me. But then I put an Instagram video, or just a post out there, that I was looking for somebody to help. And he's like, "Hey, yeah." He originally thought I was in like the Midwest or something. He didn't even know I was local. He's like, "Oh, I didn't know you're right there." But that's how bad of a job sometimes I do at communicating where I'm at for my construction company. Like, but TikTok, I think,
it should be
might
it
be one
should
of
be
those
on.
avenues.
You should put it on your logo. Just have a
Yeah,
that's what I recommend. Like have a
yeah,
round logo with where you're at, and you already kind of do, kind of in a way. Just
yeah,
integrate it,
yeah.
because that would be good for business.
Part of my problem too is I have two different company names, right? I got Tile Coach, which is my YouTube, and then I have O-Tile, which is my construction company. So people don't always correlate the two. I've actually even thought about changing my construction company to Tile Coach Installation Services, or Tile Coach Bathroom Remodeling, or something like that. So it's yeah, a little bit of things to get squared away in that, because it would be
Are you?
much more recognizable if people saw a Tile Coach van, they'd go, "Oh shoot, I saw that guy on YouTube."
Is this you? You're in Rockland,
Yeah,
California. Oh, Tile. Yeah, that's you. So you
yeah,
have 16 Google reviews. I
yeah.
mean, so are you getting
Yelp.
Are you getting calls from Google?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you own otile.com too. So that's good. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, what yeah, I'm that's incredible. Like, and you're getting people walking in to your store
Yeah.
to set up and buy the
Mhm.
tile, do the whole bathroom experience through otile.
Yeah. Yeah, and so yeah, you talk about a green flag for a contractor if they own their own showroom. I mean, not to say
Yeah,
that that is a perfect metric, but you walk into our showroom, it's nice, it's put together, it smells good in here, it's clean.
yeah,
People get we got really nice displays. It's not some cheesy just vignette that you see put up at like a tile shop usually. These are full displays that people could see the quality of the work, and it's yeah. So people come in, they get a really good idea of who we are and what we do just from coming in the showroom.
yeah, man. I love what you're doing. I mean, this is. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah. Thanks for having me, man. It's an
yeah, you got it.
incredible. I mean, good, great conversation. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Thanks for
glad. I'm glad you're fired up, because it gets me fired up. You know,
yeah. Two.
I'm coming off a hard time in life, kind of in a way. But I try. You know, I
Yeah,
like before I went up
death.
north for before I went up north, I'm like, I'm gonna produce. I said I'm gonna produce these videos. I'm gonna like for me because fatherhood and manhood was like I got to keep it together during this time as
Yeah.
best as possible.
Well,
And
yeah, yeah, the
yeah,
death of a parent is I had a the year or two after my mom passed in 2014 were pretty rough, man. Those I look back on it and it was tough. And so yeah, I'm here for you, Ben, if you need anything. And I've
quick,
really enjoyed connecting and
yeah.
just our conversations that we've been having lately. So I'd like to keep
Isaac,
this going.
yeah, one of the last stories my dad told me I got recorded was his name was Nilton Santos, and Brazilian soccer fans will recognize that name because in the 50s, I believe, there was a famous three-time World Cup champion, Nilton Santos, and he revolutionized the I think the wing position. He would just run up the field like crazy.
Hmm.
Anyway, my dad's name was Nilton Santos. He was also a professional soccer player, but well after the original famous one. Well, he tells a story of flying into Rochester, New York from Foxborough, Mass, with a pro team. He played for the Boston Astros, they were called, the first MLS team
Oh
when
wow.
Pele came to America and they started trying to push soccer in America. My dad was in that group of guys. Well, they're flying into Rochester, New York, and his coach, who was also the manager, so kind of like that movie Semi Pro, where like the
Hmm.
star player is the coach, who's also the manager, kind of like that situation. He's like, yeah, everybody thinks you're the famous Nilton Santos. And my dad's saying, I got off the plane and I never signed so many autographs in my life. And I just went with it. They thought I was that guy. I just went with it. They told me to go with it. And
That's
I
awesome.
just thought that's a hilarious story. In my dad's honor, he was funny like that. He's like he thought that kind of stuff was funny. He's like, son, why you always take stuff so serious? Type of stuff. He's like kind of guy he was, just very robust and like
Yeah.
very we used to do 2 hours of lawn work every weekend for 5 6 years, uh 3 acres, and we would do all of it. And I was Hercules. We had a row of trees up the driveway and you couldn't drive the rider through it. So every weekend I would have to go with the walk
With the
behind
push
lawnmower
through.
and
Yeah.
go up and then down. And that's how I learned how to work. And yeah, so yeah, teach your kids how to work if you got children. I mean,
I'm working on it. Yep.
yeah.
All
Oh,
right,
no,
Ben.
do your kids know how to work a little bit or what, Isaac?
A little bit. My son, who's 16, he's been helping out on the job sites here and there.
Cool.
He's
Just introduce,
yeah, he's
just
pretty
even show
busy.
them a little.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
yeah.
hopefully, I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
my theory is he doesn't have to. I feel like, again, getting back to our generation, it was sink or swim. I feel like I
yeah,
had to work that hard to make it happen. It wasn't a choice.
yeah,
It was do or die. So I did it.
yeah.
I can't
It-
say for certain if I was in his position that I would have the same drive because he doesn't have to. He just doesn't. Different financial situation. He's the fourth out of he's the youngest out of four children. He's always
oh,
been
the
taking
youngest, the
yeah,
youngest.
he's always been taken care of. Um, but my daughter, who was our first child that we had, I was 21 years old. Marissa was 20 when we had Anna. She's now a high-powered lawyer working for a corporate firm in Delaware. I mean,
Nice.
driven, I mean, to the bone. So it's like we have this spectrum, and then the two
Yeah,
daughters in the middle are kind of fall somewhere in the middle of that. But my advice to my son is going to be, you know, you don't have to. I don't expect you to do what I did, but you have a head start, right? So I've built what I've built to get to this point. Whatever you want to do, you're not just going to rest on your laurels. Now you got to take it to another level, or you got to find something else to do. But you're not just going to sit and ride on the coattails of what I've done, because I don't think that would do him any service to have that attitude. So
Yeah.
he can he can take it to the next level and be better at a lot of different things than I am, you know, be a better husband, be a better organizer, be a better planner, be a better you know, a lot of different things that he could elevate from where I have brought it.
Does he like hunting or fishing? Like
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
that's a
fish.
great that's a great activity, almost like the workman type of stuff where it's like you have to have these different skills where you maybe run a compass or learn
Yeah.
how to shoot a gun, maybe carry this thing out, butcher
Yep.
the thing. It's just a whole another avenue for kind of get the same effect of like standing
Yes.
back and looking at a shower. Like
Yep.
Khabib Nurmagomedov, the UFC champion,
Mhm.
that some interviewer asked him, it's like, "Hey, are you kids gonna fight?" He's like, nah, they do gymnastics. I know how to fight.
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
you're just gonna have to like go
Yep.
to his house. You
Yep.
know how to work. That's
Right on,
fine.
Ben.
All
Great,
right,
great
brother.
talking with you. God bless you, brother.
You too.
Yeah, I love you, man. I'll talk to you soon,
I
huh?
love you.
All
Yeah,
right.
they like we're fired up. That's
Yep.
awesome.
See you, Ben.
Bye bye. Bye.